Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever day it is.
Don't know what day it is.
Can't read your mind. But
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday,
check your underwear to see what day it is, guys.
If I had checked my underwear in high school to know what day it is, I never would have known what day it was.
This is semi-woo. Woo. Everyone thinks that semi-woo is or not everyone, few people have said that we're semi-woo girls. Do you know what a woo girl is, Heather?
It's like, woo! Party girl. When they get drunk, they just woo. And they like hold their hands up, which we know a lot of woo girls.
But I wouldn't be false to call me a semi-woo girl because last night we went to see the Dixie Chicks concert in the theater. Our friend thought it was an actual Dixie Chicks concert.
For $15.
It was a filming of a Dixie Chicks.
At a mall in downtown.
No, it wasn't even a filming. It was a live.
It wasn't live.
No.
It wasn't even live?
It was
a recorded.
It was like a DVD release type thing, but it wasn't a DVD. It was on film. It was a filmed concert played at a movie theater, which sounds lame, but was amazing.
If you love the group,
it was incredible.
It's incredible. And it was incredible.
And the editing and the filming was fantastic.
It was wonderful.
And you got to feel like
Crowd
you were on
shots.
stage with yeah, people singing along. It was wonderful. But I was wooing a lot, I noticed.
But that's because the Dixie Chicks, not because the party.
True. There was no party. People were sitting in their seats
We're party
quietly.
girls, but we don't woo. And here's the thing about woo girls. You never know what lies beneath. Because woo girls, there's a lot of secret woo girls.
I know.
And a lot of them are moms. And when they get out there, they start wooing their asses off.
They do. I tend to woo sometimes.
Do you woo? I guess I woo.
More like when I'm clapping for something actual. I'm like, what? Like I want to scream to like show my admiration for a band or something.
That's cheering.
It's less wooing. Like I don't just woo on the street when we're like walking around like, we're gonna go get
That's
wine.
woo girl.
Woo! It is. There was a bar in New York that it was like a gay cowboy bar in Hell's Kitchen that said like no wooing white girls or something like that.
That was sad.
I'm like,
Because you want to know what? Then I want to woo.
I know.
Makes me want to woo a bit.
Right. And I was like, you're black, so you were allowed to.
No, it didn't. There was no race.
I thought it said white
It was
girls.
just women.
Oh, it was just women.
Maybe. Because white girls tend to be the more woo girls.
They
Oh,
do.
absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe it did too.
Wooing white girls. That'd be a great name for
We're
something.
going to seg right into
Yeah,
the
we're segging right into
topic
something
of this,
today.
which you guys might have guessed from all that. Meditation.
Meditation. Yep. What it is, what it's about.
Our journeys. I didn't meditate until the meditation at the meditation retreat that we planned
Correct.
in 2014.
Correct. No, I think it was 15, wasn't it?
Oh, it probably was 15.
Because now 17. It was 2 years
Absolutely.
ago. 15. Yeah. Yes. So we had somehow some sort of a premonition / deep idea calling to have a meditation get out of the city retreat in New York.
In Montauk.
Right. We were in Montauk for the summer.
Yes.
And we were saying, okay, we want to have a retreat. We want people to have community, have fun, get out of the city, meditate.
Be spiritual. It was a meditation retreat,
But we didn't
and a happiness
meditate.
retreat. So we were like, what we do best is throw parties. Remember,
Mm-hmm.
like we throw parties. Usually they're drinking, bands, DJs. Let's do a spiritual party. No drinking, but like all the fun.
All the fun. Right.
And not like a quiet
The fun of like
yoga.
sitting around a fire, laughing, doing things together as a group, eating together, all
Right.
the stuff that we do love doing as a group or a community,
Right.
but just without the like rage party side.
And with a lot of this ceremony that you had come back with from Guy
Yeah.
Sagrada.
That was my first time coming back.
Right.
Yeah. How do we incorporate all that? But at least me, I'll say for my part, I think I tried or thought about meditating many times during that summer. Like I'd go off, we had a little grassy knoll,
Absolutely.
and I'd take a towel in the morning and be like, I'm going to go meditate.
I don't think I
And then
even
I just
tried
kind of would like
once.
sit and then maybe look at the sun or close my eyes. I'd take
Yeah.
a little nap. It was really sunny, so I'd kind of sunbathe.
It was
which
a
was
meditative
nice.
summer.
Yes.
But I didn't even look up apps. I
No.
didn't Google it. I remember, and we were planning the retreat, and I remember reaching out to friends because we're like, oh, we need a meditation teacher. I didn't even know where to find one.
I know. I didn't
And
know
I
if they,
asked
what
some
they
of
were.
my more woo girlfriends, and we met Ralph De La Rosa.
Who will be on the podcast in the
Yeah.
in the coming weeks. He's writing a book right now.
And Ralph was like, he was kick ass. He was punk rock.
Yeah.
He had
San
like
Francisco,
a
old
hard
school.
and pass
Uh-huh.
drummer. Like he was actually dating my friend Bonnie that recommended him to me. And I remember we met him and we were like, this guy's a meditation teacher. I think we were waiting for like monks and smocks or
I
something.
know.
I was.
Yeah, he just was like a regular dude slash. Yeah, I don't know what I expected, but because
wasn't
I didn't know what
him.
meditation was, and so of course, what did I expect?
And we were very
No
like.
idea.
He had a PhD.
Right. He was
In
working in
psychology.
social services. Like he was
Yeah.
working with children of trauma and abuse. So he had a history of studying abuse and trauma and a PhD in dealing with
So we knew he was like legit.
those issues.
But no doubt until his meditation at that retreat, I can't say that I had meditated ever.
That was the first time I meditated.
And it was
insane.
powerful.
His guided meditations, and he
to this day
does so much with like neuroscience and meditation. Like he's the one that really taught me how to integrate science and a lot of like very recent studies into neuroplasticity into meditation.
Right.
That made so much sense to
Right.
me. Like what is actually happening in your brain when you meditate? What's going on? What's the purpose? Why are we even
Right.
doing this? Why are we being quiet and breathing? Oh, for the longest time, probably 2-3 years when I heard about meditation or read about it or saw articles or little memes, I thought it was like being quiet. I thought it was all about being quiet.
Closing off all the thoughts in my brain and making my brain quiet.
And going.
And since I couldn't do that, and since that's not the point, I always thought I was fucking it up.
And the number one thing people ever that we talk to who have either never started or were trying, they're like, I can't do it. I can't stop thinking.
I can't stop thinking.
Well, congratulations. You are alive. And you're a human.
Your brain still works.
And your brain's alive.
It's like your lungs breathe, brain
Never
thinks,
gonna stop.
heart beats.
There's certain very deep, like Tibetan Buddha, there's certain fringe, smaller sects of certain religions that do say that eventually with meditation you can stop thinking. From a scientific perspective, that is impossible. If your brain is not processing and creating a thought, you are dead. To me, it's about, and we can talk about, both of us talk about what meditation is. It's what I learned is it's about being aware of your thoughts and learning how to detach from them, not making them bad or good, not judging them, not counting how many there are, or this one is wrong, or why can't I this? Because when you first start meditating, you not only have, of course, more thoughts because you are becoming aware of them.
Right. I always say it's like that dusty garage. Like when you go into somewhere that hasn't been clean and you take a rag and you're like, oh, we're gonna like see what's in here. We're gonna like see all our thoughts. It kicks up all the dust and it looks crazy and wild. And you're like, holy shit, look at all these thoughts up here. Yeah. And it makes you want to like close the attic and never go up there again because it's too stressful.
It is too stressful.
But if you keep going in there and cleaning and keeping it clean on a regular basis, it gets real nice and airy up there, actually.
Yeah. And every once in a while, maybe 4 weeks later, you move a certain box and it's like a shit ton of dust.
It's a shit ton of dust.
And you're like, oh,
but
fuck,
it's an interesting box. Yeah, you start opening other boxes.
Yeah. It is like that.
I think this is the part of meditation that I did not expect at all, is that you can mind expand from just these 20 minutes I do in the morning, that all of a sudden it opens these boxes in your mind. Once you clean all the gunk out of there and do stuff like that, you start to explore why you do what you do and why you think what you think. This part is why I love it.
That's the part that gets deeper.
That's very interesting. That's the deeper part. But
and
just
even the beginning, which is, I mean, at least I think for most people, is
calmness,
a little bit of calm and a little bit of space between like when you react or when you feel something during the day, like after your or before your meditation, where you're like, I can step back and look at this. And it's kind of like, what is that voice? That's pretty magical. When I can be like, I'm looking at my anger. I'm not my anger. Like just being able to do that. Like that was the biggest thing for me at first of all. I'm like, oh, I'm feeling, like you're saying, I'm feeling jealousy. Like it's coming over me. I'm feeling it. Like, oh, this is weird.
And I'm
like,
in the moment right now where I am angry and I want to yell. I want to lash out, and I am aware of it.
Yeah.
That's a big moment. That's a crazy moment.
That is a crazy
I remember
moment.
being at like La Spiga and I was getting really mad at a customer, and I'd been meditating, so I was like feeling the feels and it wouldn't go away. Then I start beating myself up. You're not supposed to be angry. You're a meditation teacher. Oh my gosh. This is not what you're supposed to do. I'm like, no. I'm just here collecting data as a human. Anger isn't inherently terrible.
No.
It's something that happened naturally. I didn't like whip myself up. I was being treated terribly by a customer and it was making me angry.
Yeah.
But what I could do was like explore it. I would say like put it on a petri dish and I'm like, oh shit, I feel it in my shoulders. I want to tell that guy he's a fucking idiot. That's interesting. I want to go and bitch and talk to my coworkers. I want it out. I want it away. But I also can't get it away from me. So I just kind of had to like walk through it, put it on the Petri dish and explore it. And then I thought, I'm going to be pissed all night. I remember thinking that, like, this is going to piss me off all night. And it started to fade, and I could feel my shoulders less tense, and I laughed at a joke that a coworker said. You know, when you're mad and you don't want to laugh.
Oh,
You don't want to be
yes.
cheered
You're like,
up.
no, I'm pissed.
I started to get cheered up, and I went through it. And I smiled at the dude on his way out, and I was good.
Yeah.
That's a journey that is a rare thing, I think, in human life.
Because we tend to do one of two things, either like lash out, give in to everything, or stuff it down and be like, everything's fine, just relax, it's just a
You're
customer,
not angry.
don't worry about it.
Love
You're
him
fine.
like a brother.
Just love him. Like,
Love
and
him.
that
Compassion.
just
Compassion.
stuffs, and eventually, guess what? That anger's going to come out anyway.
You know what? It was
It has
actually
to.
easier to have it on me and be like, I'm feeling anger. I took that dude out of it. When I was exploring my anger, like, it stopped having anything to do with him.
I know.
And so then I didn't even think about him.
It's so funny you talk about the need to, when you're mad or pissed, the need to like spread it. It's a very strong need. Like, I want to
Send
tell
it back,
someone.
send
I
it
want to tell my
around.
friends. I can't wait to. This happened to me recently. I was on a trip in Las Vegas, and so this happened recently to me. I was on a vacation, and something happened with a friend of mine where it was like a confusion, miscommunication. I got left somewhere, and they didn't know, and blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. It was just this big miscommunication of where we were going, what time, all this stuff. And I ended up in a place I didn't want to be, and I had to take an Uber, and I was like, oh, and I was very, like, righteously angry. I was like, I did nothing wrong. I did, and you're like, and then you're like, oh, then this becomes like this righteous anger. Like, I'm just so pissed. And I was in the Uber, and I was so pissed. And my physical need to like call someone and tell them and have them like validate it was so big. Like, I called my friend Adam.
Energy, it feels like it's trapped in your body.
It feels like it's trapped, and I was like, I need to tell someone, like, so they'll be like, I can't believe that. Wow.
Yeah.
And I even came back and told you guys, like, can you believe this story that happened to me?
Yeah.
And it's like I was such a strong need to get that out, to be like validated in my anger or something, but the opposite of that, which is what I maybe would have done before, which is not healthy, is to just be like, whatever, like, it's no big deal, like, it's fine, like, brush it off. And that doesn't feel good either. Because when you are angry, when something actually does happen and it is a bad situation, it tends to go one of those ways. And I was really trying, I'm like, how do I, with the new knowledge I have and this new kind of meditation practice and exploring my feelings, I'm like, well, okay, so now something happened to me. I'm mad. It's a real thing. What do I do? And I was sitting at the bar waiting for them, like, what do I do? What's the best possible way that I can express this but yet go on?
I think Mach 1 is feel it.
Yeah.
And not run. And I think that's where we get it wrong right off the bat. As we're like, it's fine, or this or that, or retaliation.
Yes.
Then it's all about that.
And then we make it bigger and bigger.
A lot of the problem with like where to direct anger, and we say direct, which is scary too, because then it's like, where do I send it? Because it's like in our bodies. But a lot of times we tell the wrong person. We do tell a coworker, we do tell a friend that wasn't involved, instead of the person, and be like, can we talk? Because I'm feeling anger, and it seems like it was caused by something that you were doing. And it seems like the very few times I've had the balls to confront someone that's put me in a situation where I feel anger, or I feel like they put me in that, their take on it is so different. And they have no fucking idea. It boggles my mind. Yeah. I'm like, I'm sitting here feeling all these feels, and you're over there like, what?
That was how this was. They're like, oh, we didn't know.
We had no idea.
Then you get pissed about that.
You're
like,
pissed about
really?
that. But it does diffuse a little bit of it. It does diffuse it.
Like, and I had to talk about my feelings. Like, I felt rejected. I felt really lonely.
Talk it out.
I did in the moment. Like, two of us were crying. Like, some tears came out because that's how it expressed itself.
And they felt you, man. You spoke
They did.
They
really kind of looked at me like, whoa. And I was like, this is how I felt. Like, I felt just like left aside and like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I want to have a fun night, and I want to, like, it was early in the night. I said, I want to have a fun night.
You didn't want to perpetuate it.
No, I don't want to be angry and later, like, drink and then be like, you stupid. I'm not doing that. So, like, we're going to get it all out right here. But this is the truth of my feelings.
That's what you do.
That is what you do, I guess. Yeah. This is the truth. This is how I felt.
Because by the time you told us, I remember, you were over. It was a good story.
I know.
And we won't tell it on the air, but it was a good story.
Right.
But you didn't have it.
No, I didn't have it. There was no leftover anger. Yeah. Because I had to express it to them. Yeah. And it's funny, I didn't express it in anger. I expressed it in true feelings of like hurt, which is like, once you get over the anger part of it, it's like, the truth was like I felt like other feelings below the anger. I wasn't just like,
Right.
I'm angry at you. It was just like I felt like you didn't pay attention to me. I felt abandoned in a weird
Neglected.
way.
Yeah.
I felt like I wasn't as important as you since you
Yeah.
guys are a couple and I'm alone. And so like when you tell those truth feelings, like people can't really get mad at you
They
for
can't
telling
get mad
those
at you
like
for
truth
that.
like
And I think when a lot of
feelings.
people try to tell their truth without knowing why you're mad, why you're angry, you can't do it. You just start yelling at them and get mean,
Mm-hmm.
and you try to tear them down to express your anger. This is where meditation totally has helped us, because
Yeah.
when you know what anger feels like, you can explore it, and you and it goes beyond like just the feelings of anger, and then you get to the root. The roots are where things kind of get interesting, and where you
Yeah.
can even speak your truth. Like, you knew why you were angry, you knew all the feels, you were able to communicate it.
Yeah.
It diffused that situation. They absolutely learned something.
Yeah, and then we got over it in
And
like
you got over
10
it.
minutes. And we were on to like fine the rest of the night.
It takes space
It
though
helped.
to not go into a rage, and to know that stuffing it down ain't gonna happen.
No. And I think also as women, I mean, we have learned to do that more than not. Or we've learned that we have one or two ways, like crazy bitch yelling at everybody. I'm you motherfucker. Nah, 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 nah.
Mhm.
I just say it
Speaking
real.
mind
I'm
and
just speaking my
mind
mind.
and not
Or the
truth.
girl who's like, it's fine. Don't worry. It's totally
Mhm.
fine. And it's like there's
And
definitely
then she gets
something in
drunk and goes
between that.
wild and crazy.
Yeah. Then she turns into a woo girl.
Then she's a girl.
Completely.
An angry woo.
So one last thing we want to talk about, just like on the subject of meditation, is how to meditate. So Heather, what's your advice for someone who's starting out? They're like, I've read about it, I've learned about it, I know, like this is what I hear a lot. I know it would be good for me, but I just don't do it.
I say there's a few tips, and we've talked about this. Start in the morning.
Always.
Just put your plane on airplane mode while you sleep, or promise that you won't check it until you do your meditation, and take this crazy time limit off it. So many times what I hear is like people are trying to get to like 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour. Like the more you meditate, the better it is for you. When really, from most of the research I've done, 20 minutes.
I know.
20 minutes each morning. And I started with 5 for months. Then I went
know.
to 10
Me too.
for months. I'm just now doing my 20.
I'm not even at 20 yet.
And admitting to myself that sometimes it's tough is totally fine. Find the apps. Like, go modern on it. Use Insight Timer,
I
Headspace.
know.
And right now, I'm using Mantra.
Right.
Absolutely recommend it.
Huge.
Because, like, so when I teach meditation, I always teach it like, we usually go with our breath. That's home base. I call it home base. And meditation is just a practice of being in the moment, which is your breath, home base, leaving that moment, which you always are going to do in a meditation, and then being aware that you've left the moment, like, oh, I thought of my to-do list, or now I'm thinking about my day or whatever, being like, oh, I'm meditating. Let me come back to my breath. So it's that loop. So you actually, the thoughts that pop up are great because you use them to come back to the moment.
Yeah.
Hope I'm doing good on, but like you need them to practice.
Right.
It's like, you know what I mean?
For the awareness.
For the awareness. Because
Yeah.
it's just about being aware of our thoughts and coming back to the present moment.
Right.
And then doing that enough time starts to create this like padding around your thoughts where you have like you're less reactive.
Mm-hmm.
You can make decisions a little easier. I started noticing a few months ago that too much stimulation was a little over the top. So like maybe I don't like check my email while I'm eating as much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do so many things at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of exploring that lately.
We do have way too much stimulation, like you're saying,
Yeah.
all the time.
All the time.
Constant. In addition to our thoughts, actual
It's a
stimulation.
bit grating.
But I was reading something the other day that the average brain has about 60,000 thoughts a day.
So
Which to me, I'm like, I feel like I have more like 260,000 thoughts. But
Same.
60,000 is a lot
It's a lot.
of thoughts. And there's layers. You know, I noticed
Yeah.
that in meditation when I first started was like, first I'm thinking about not thinking. Then I'm thinking about how hard that is. Then I'm thinking about I need to go to the store later. Then I'm
thinking,
like, wait,
oh,
why did I just...
I'm not having thoughts. Oh, crap. Okay, there goes one.
Yeah? Why did I just think about the store? You're not supposed to be thinking about the store. You're supposed to be thinking about breathing. Why
And yet
can't
you're
you
in a guided one and like, think of somebody that's did you wrong, that you love. And I'm like, oh, my mom. No, I love my dad too. I don't want him to feel bad. Let me do my brother, that's neutral. But then I have a sister. Okay, I'll do my cousin. Then it's like, none of my family, no one will feel bad. Okay, but my cousin, she did that thing to me that one time. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And I love being, and being aware of that
Uh-huh.
is the whole game.
And you're still the stillness behind all of
There's
it.
no guru moment. There's no whatever. Yes, I've had those moments where you're floating on cloud 9,
Mm-hmm.
and I've had those moments where I get up after 2 minutes and I'm done.
I know.
And I can't even do it.
The other day, 7 minutes almost killed me.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm fucking over this.
Yeah.
I had to like put the app down. The Insight Timer's like, are you sure you're done? Shut up, Insight Timer.
It's like, oh,
It's like,
finish
are
early.
you sure you want to finish
I
early?
mean,
It's like, do you want to
can.
log this?
It's just that you haven't really done like enough.
I'm like, bitch, you think I want to log 7 minutes when I'm used to doing
I'll log
10,
my
15,
7
20?
minutes. Sure. I want my credit for the day.
Sure you want to leave?
It's just that like 4,500 people have been meditating with you and like they're doing it.
There's also 28,000 people in Seattle right now meditating for an hour. So 7 minutes seems a little pathetic. No, I mean, I'm giving shit to Insight Timer, but like there is, I love the function of the app of what it actually does, like the sound bowls, and it gives you, you know, a 5-minute timer, 10-minute, whatever, it logs it, whatever. But it also has the bullshit other social media stuff, like look at all these people, like comparing yourself to other people, how many people are meditating longer than you. I don't even look at that. I pretty much just use it for the sounds and like to keep me going.
Because this is another thing. So I do a 20-minute meditation and I put a timer, or like you can program a bell to ring at certain periods. So I do one every 5 minutes.
Yeah, me too.
This is wonderful for me. The 5-minute like resets me. I do a deep breath. Also take classes. This is new. Meditation is new. So I remember talking to my mentor, who I take his meditation classes, and he was saying in the 70s is like, there was no like, oh, I do metta, or I do secular, or I do Buddhist, or I go to Shambhala, or I do it with my yoga. Like, you were Buddhist, or you didn't meditate. It was like all in that world. Yeah. And you learn this way. Now there's so many different types of meditations.
I know.
Guided meditation is just one of them, actually. Mantra, mindfulness. I've done ones where you eat. You focus on your meal and how it tastes in your mouth and the textures and the smells.
Oh yeah, mindfulness meditation is a whole different world. Completely.
They're all different worlds. So then people need to know, hey, like we don't all wear the same clothes, or we don't all do the same workouts. Yeah. Same thing. So then trying on a lot of different meditations, different voices that you like, different cadences, amounts of time, or walking meditations.
Mm-hmm. Nature ones.
There's so many.
Nature trail ones are great.
There's a big world. Yeah. And what people say is like, okay, so the point of meditating is like I can do it longer and longer, or have less time between my thoughts, more space between my thoughts. And that is true. But it's not like that's the point. The point is then to use the space that you've created between your thoughts in your everyday life. I know. And then you get this dope-ass meditative life where your coffee tastes better. You're engaged in sex a little bit better. Your conversations are on point. Like you're not thinking about the next thing you need to say before the person says it, which is something I totally do. Like as they're talking, I'm like, okay, what am I going to say? Yeah. You're like, listen, your food tastes better because you're dialed in.
Everything.
Everything
your like
meditative.
Boring routine at work can be super unique and different and interesting when you're focused on
being in the
small moments.
Yeah, it's being in the moment practice. So if you practice being in the moment, when you're in the moment and you're aware, it's rich. Yeah. It's rich. It's good.
And that's why it's hard after a few days. Like I had lost my practice for like 2 or 3 days when I was on vacation, and getting back into it was the day, like first day where that 7 minutes, I'm like, I was going crazy. I mean, it's just like exercise or anything else. Absolutely. It's a practice. And I do this, and a lot of people do this. Some people have this more than others. But when I'm starting something new, I think that I should be able to do it immediately, know it immediately. My muscles should know how to do it. It should feel, it just doesn't feel natural. It's like dance. I love dance, right? I love choreographed dance. And like any choreographed dance, if you didn't grow up doing it, you don't have any basis of your brain and your body and your muscles are two different things. So your brain may go, okay, she's going right, left, right. And your brain's like, duh. And then your body is like, I don't get that yet. Right. And so then you just get frustrated, and you're like, well, why can't I figure out that? Like, look, there's everyone else in the class is doing it. Everyone else is doing it. Meanwhile, these people could have taken dance for like 8 years as a kid or something and understand it. Right. And so after 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12 classes, all of a sudden, right, left, right, like feels super natural, right? And you're like, whoo. And so your brain body starts having that connection. But anything else, it's a practice. Like, it's so stupid, and I really think it's a way to give up on things easily, is to go to 1, 2, or even 3 times at anything new and be like, it's just not coming natural. It's not for me. I was like, it's a practice. It's a meditation practice. You have to practice it. You don't do it for a few days, got to practice it again. Got to practice it again. And it takes years sometimes.
It gets easier, and you have days where it just returns to crap. And you just are like, oh my gosh, this is hard. And a lot of that reflects a lot of the stress in my life at a certain time. If I'm having more of a stressful week, they say meditate a little longer. It feels like the most counterintuitive thing in the world.
I know.
And I don't always take that advice.
It does.
But I notice I can feel, because I'm aware of my thoughts now, I can see I have way more when I'm stressed and a little bit less when I'm camping. It's just so nice and it's all serene.
It's true. And the more stressed you are, the more you should meditate. But the less you want to, you're like, I can't meditate. I have things to do.
I have things to do. I can't use this
I have
space.
Decisions to
I
make.
can't use this awareness.
Yeah. Something I read that Tony Robbins was saying about his morning routine, that he has this 30-minute morning routine. And he's like, if you don't have 10 minutes to meditate for your life, then you don't have a fucking life. Then you don't have a life. What do you mean you don't got 10 minutes for your life?
Right.
You know, how much time are you on your computer? How much time? Oh, God forbid. I think there's an app that does this. Don't quote me, but someone can maybe find it. That tracks like how much you're on each app.
Wow.
God forbid. God forbid I load that for one day.
I think everyone would be appalled.
Oh, Instagram? Oh, you got 47 minutes a day to Instagram?
This is why I say before you even pick up your phone, do your meditation. I have been trapped. And then I feel like I'm doing the click loop. I'm on all the things. Yep, I'm going back around the loop.
Click,
and I can't get out of this loop. And it's hard if I haven't meditated. I can get out of it. I usually don't even start it if I meditate.
I know. It's just been such a big thing. So we're going to take a little break, guys, and what we're going to talk about next is the law of attraction. Maybe you've heard of this, maybe you haven't. Just what it means to us, what we've learned about this, how we've integrated into our life, how it relates to meditation.
Is it a Ponzi scheme?
Yeah, is it? What is it? Is it just a movie? Is
Right.
it just woo-woo nonsense? So we'll talk about that. Again, have your conscious beverage, or we will meet you back in just a moment.
Peace.
And
I want lunch.
luchador. Okay, and we're
Luchador.
back. We're back, guys. Woo 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 woo. Semi woo.
Semi-woo.
Heather's over there banging her nose on the
I
microphone.
am.
No one knows what's
Feeling
going on in
silly.
this studio.
I woke up a little too early for a hike. Actually, no, never mind. So we're talking law of attraction.
Yeah, what is
The
this
laws
law?
of it. I hadn't heard this phrase, and when we lived in San Diego, it was like 2007 or 8
Okay.
or 9. And you were like, I heard about this movie called The Secret.
Oh, right.
We're going to go watch it. It was like in a church basement.
But it was
like
some festival.
8
They claimed it
people
was a
there.
festival.
Was it?
Well, they on the advertisement, it was like, come to this like barbecue outdoor festival,
Was
The
it?
Secret. And I was like, oh, that sounds fun. It's free, whatever.
It was seriously
They
like
claimed that.
a video in a church basement with like 12 people there.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell is this?
I know.
But we watched it, and we were so semi on it. We were like, that was amazing. It definitely is something, but that's a crock shit.
Yeah, that's what it was.
We were so down the
And
middle.
it's so funny that we even went to see it because we did
I
not
had
believe
no
in
idea.
any of
Nothing
that
like
then.
How did you even see that?
No idea. This is funny
this
stuff
is
in
why
your life that
faith
comes
leads you,
along,
yeah.
and you're like, who knows what
Right.
spark of a spark that was. And it seemed like total bullshit. But it was like, there was no, this is kind of how I approach some things in life. It's like, well, there's no harm. Like, it takes me, an hour to make a vision board and, paste some cars
Right,
onto a piece of paper. It's not going to cost me $10,000 to, invest in this idea.
Yeah.
And maybe it comes out of it, I get a husband and a car.
Or
That's
get
how
a
I looked at it,
boat.
right? Like,
right. We used to say, I'm gonna secret that. Like it would be like,
Yeah.
I want that thing. I'm gonna put that in
secret
my
that.
future bank.
I'm gonna put that in my
something.
secret
My
bank.
future secret.
I
bank.
never even made a vision board, actually, which is funny because I grew
No.
up as a teen girl with a bunch of magazines, and we used to always.
decoupaged, but
Totally.
they're not vision boards.
No, they're not vision boards. And I think what's funny is that this has related now to what my newer understanding of this is, but I never had really specific goals as far as physical ones, like this car, this much money, this specific vacation. It wasn't specific. It was always be happy and have fun, like that. It was
Right.
always real general. So now as we've gotten in the last few years, this is always hard for me to describe to new people, so I'll do my best. But Abraham Hicks, there's Esther Hicks and Jerry Hicks. So Esther and Jerry Hicks, Jerry has now passed away, are a couple. We're a couple. And they were kind of in this woo-woo world a little bit, and they read these books that are called the Seth books. We'll put all this stuff in our description from in the 70s. That was kind of like this basis of the basis of all of it is thoughts become things. That whatever you think is an actual
What you focus
turns
on.
what you focus on, and your thoughts become, like, through vibrational reality, actual things, whether that be actual emotions, actual physical things. The universe is basically created through our thought process. That's like the real basic thing of this.
Mm-hmm.
And so Esther, who's this really nice, sweet, kind of quiet lady, she was more like, Jerry was more of the teacher, and she was kind of like his beautiful wife, and would just, it was along for the ride, but not really doing much in this world. But she was like very great at meditating and being open to suggestions. So like through her, she doesn't use the word channel, and channel is such a weird word, but she opened herself up to this kind of universal energy that she named Abraham. And it's kind of a collection of what she calls like non-physical thought, or her higher self, or whatever you want to call it. Source energy, name it what you want. And so Abraham is this collection of these beings or source energy that kind of, she goes on cruises and does that, speak through her
body.
Right. So you can see the videos online.
Very normal and
super not woo.
Wonderful.
Not woo at all.
No.
So we actually were introduced to Abraham Hicks, at least I was, through Ralph De La Rosa, our meditation teacher in New York.
But Darlene used to talk about it all the time. She's a
Oh,
big
even
Abraham
before Ralph.
head.
Okay.
It did not resonate. You only hear what you're ready to hear.
Yep.
Because this bitch had been telling me to watch these, and I didn't watch it until Ralph.
Yeah.
At the retreat, and then I heard it.
I know.
And this is the thing that's super woo, and that's hard to explain, is you can hear something, and you can know something, and it hits you in your core, and you have no reason but to believe it fully, and it resonates with you.
Yeah.
I know that word because of this woo world.
That's the only reason I know it.
Yeah.
And so these things that are, when she has someone who comes up and sits in like this hot seat, and people ask questions about life and everything,
about
spirituality, the universe, about the source energy, anything you want to ask, you can ask. But when someone's maybe, I've noticed either a little bit more beginner in this world, or like not quite understanding, as she asks all these questions, she goes, do you believe that we're vibrational beings? That's a huge thing. Mm-hmm. So if someone says no, then it's like you can't really go on from there. Mm-hmm. So like everything vibrates at a frequency. And the way she describes, everything does. Like everything is a vibration in some way. It's measurable, absolutely. Yeah. So the way that what you're talking about, which is that you've heard something but it didn't resonate, is like, she always says, you can have your radio dialed to 98.5. You're not going to hear what's on 103.5. Mm-hmm. There's just no way. You're not tuned into it. You're not tuned into a frequency. So I have watched some of her videos maybe 3 times, just whatever. And then on the 4th time, it all makes sense. It's like I am tuned in to what is being said at that time.
And in watching these videos, she'll even, and it's funny because you never know to say, is it he? Is it Abraham?
I always say,
I go back
I think
and
I
forth.
say
It's
he.
like RuPaul. I'm like,
I don't know. Either one doesn't
he
matter.
Or she would appreciate either, because mad respect. But when she is talking to someone and maybe feels the person isn't tuned into the frequency she's speaking, she'll go, in other words, and start saying it in these different ways. But it's not necessarily different words, it's different vibrations. And I'll notice on one, I'm like, oh, I heard it on that one. Or she'll keep saying, I'm like, oh, I heard it on that one, or I'll get it right away. It really is like frequencies and not necessarily changing rephrasing the words. Oh,
yeah, it's not even necessarily that.
Yeah.
Completely. And this is what I've started to notice in my life with certain people in my life. I'll be talking about, let's say, for instance, something simple or like easy that most people on the vibration, like the weather, right? Like these things we call small talk, like, oh, it's been so hot here recently. And they're like, yeah, this and that. And you're like, how's your new, your daughter's preschool? Oh, it's great. This and that. You're talking. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm doing this. I have this new podcast that I'm doing, and we're talking, and people just zone the fuck out. And I was like, oh, it's about semi-woo. It's like like just, and they're there, like, their ears are working, but it's like they can't get on the vibration of hearing what I'm talking about, especially when it relates to deeper issues. And some people are just like, I'm not willing to go there with you about anything deeper.
High vibration. I mean, it came from a lot of our like meditation work and a lot of work we've done with plant medicine. Mm-hmm. So I always think, it's just in a frequency, like this, the act of doing this is in a frequency maybe people can't hear. Because I've experienced the same. And then when I talk about poop and farts, well, everybody's all ears. Because that's obviously a lower vibration maybe. I talk about poop and farts.
It's literally what happens lower in your body. It's a lower,
Yeah.
it's a lower chakra.
Chakra.
Who doesn't like fart jokes though? I mean, come on.
Come on.
We all do. But it's true that like this vibrational reality, and every time I hear that, we're like, do you accept that you're a vibrational being? Because we're so attached. Like, no, it's like there's physical matter. I can feel my body. I'm in this world. There's physical things. So we're talking about what manifestation is, right? So this law of attraction is like attracts like. It's like this law of the universe that whatever you put out, you get back. And so the hard part of it as humans is that there's no saying no or yes. So if you're saying like, I don't want to be nervous during my speech. I don't want to be nervous. I don't want to have anxiety. I don't want to be nervous. I don't want to be nervous during my speech. I always get nervous. I just don't want to be.
Like that. Nervousness is not fun.
Yeah.
Anxiety doesn't help.
Anxiety makes me sweat, and then I get talk strange. My voice gets dry, and then people start looking at me weird. What is that vibration?
Fear, anxiety, and
that's all it is. It's just like, okay, I'll give you more of that. I'll give you more of that. It's just like, I'll give you more of whatever you're focused on. If there's no positive or negative. Doesn't hear don'ts. There is no don'ts. Because even when we were saying that, there wasn't a don't.
Right.
It was like talking about anxiety and fear.
Right. And it whips it up.
It whips it up.
And
so you're just going to get more of it.
It's like once you focus on your fear and anxiety in an interview, you're like, here's the examples. Here's why I don't like it. Here's how they look at me when I'm fear. You start making a dossier of fear and anxiety, and you live in this fear and anxiety world, and you're putting together this case.
Yeah. And then you can tell people, see, I knew that would happen.
This always happens to me. I get afraid. I really don't want it to be this way. Well, where's your focus? On your fear and anxiety.
Where's your focus? Now, what tends to go wrong in the beginning of kind of learning this is that you go, okay, so I don't want to be anxious. So I'm like, I love speeches. Speeches are great. I am great at them.
No, then that's
I'm
not true.
really, then it's not true. And you're not feeling it. And you're like, every time I give a speech, everyone looks at me and they're happy because I gave it the best way
I'm a
possible.
rock star with speeches. Well, no, you're not. You usually get fear and anxiety.
Right? Yeah. So there is that reality. So you're like, well, where do I go from there? Like, how do I get out of these loops that we all get into?
These patterns.
And a lot of it, and the number one piece of advice from everybody is like, go general. Go general on the whole thing. Like, if you can't get out of a loop of stress and anxiety with speeches, do not talk about speeches. Don't think about speeches. Don't think about anxiety. Start doing something else. Completely natural. Hey, when I'm with my friend Jennifer, she listens to me. I love talking to her. Like, I love being one-on-one. It feels really good to be heard.
I'm lucky to have friends.
Like, friends are awesome. Yeah. Like, I actually feel really, really normal, and I laugh. My body feels good. Like, I love hanging out with her. What's she been up to?
Yeah, and they laugh back at me. Like, I'm glad I have friends that hang out with me and, like, listen to me. I listen to them.
Yeah.
Like,
what is that feeling? What's that feeling of feeling heard? What does that feel like when people look at you in the eye and they acknowledge you?
I feel confidence around certain people. Yeah, around my friends, I'm real solid.
Right.
I feel confident. They like me. They pump me up. I've gotten some interviews actually before. I've gotten jobs. It's happened before.
It's happened before.
Okay.
I have gotten them.
I've gotten through.
There's been times when I felt really good after it, you know?
I guess people must be able to read something in me that tells them that I'm competent and I am confident.
Right. And maybe I talk a little bit quieter, but you know what's funny is when I do my speeches and I kind of talk quieter, I notice there's people in the audience who like that and who notice that they're like on that same vibe with me and building
But from as close to truth as you can. And not making these huge leaps that end up just going 360 and slapping you back down.
Yeah. That's the worst thing I think about like positive thinking is that we think that positive thinking is sucking out all negative thoughts and being like, everything's going to be fine.
And
I'm beautiful.
Of the most positive. Like, okay, I get fear and anxiety interviews. Oh, no, I'm a rock star, Toastmaster. I could do a TED Talk right now.
Because you don't believe it. And if you don't believe it, it doesn't even matter because then your thoughts in your head are still really like, no, of course I have a lot of anxiety.
And you want to know what that creates is like a voice in your head that goes, yeah, right, dude, you could never speak into it. Liar. So now I'm anxious, nervous, and I'm a liar.
I know.
And it starts tacking things on. But if you can do those, either go general about the topic, like speeches. I like the job that's going to come from this. It seems cool.
Yeah.
I know this is something I'll go through. If you can't even do that, then start thinking about your favorite snack.
Yeah, something completely different. To get you...
To release the energy from this whole thing.
Yeah.
And stop the spiral.
And we think that, and I still do this to this day, even though I know I'm not supposed to do it. And I was doing it this week with something I'm dealing with of like, where am I going to live, right? I think I'm like, I got to get deeper. I got to look more. I got to research more. I got to write more. Live. Where am I going to live? Where am I going to live? Where am I going to live? I got to focus. I got to focus. I got to focus. I got to drill it. I got to drill it.
And if I take
Otherwise,
my focus
I'm not
I can't go hiking. I can't do anything else. I got to focus on where I got to live.
Yeah, focus on this. And yet I've learned thousands of times when you release it and you go general and you release the focus, bang, 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 stuff starts falling into place.
And release the focus on the fear around not having the thing.
Fear.
The fear of not having the thing, of not doing the interview right, of not having enough money, of not having a job, of not having a lover. Release the fear of that thing.
Yeah.
And this is what I love about Law of Attraction, because it teaches you better know the feelings surrounding what you want. It ain't about the physical thing.
We always think it is. That's actually one of the biggest lessons.
I think this is the biggest
and that's what she gets people to do. It's like, okay, what do you want? I want a lover. What is that?
What does that feel like?
And then people are like, a lover is, I like them. You're like, that's not a feeling.
No.
What does it feel like to have it?
They bring me flowers. That's not a feeling.
That's not a feeling.
That's an action.
Yeah. Well, they're there in the house at night. That's not a feeling.
Yeah.
And it's hard because people get frustrated, and you're like, "What is the feeling? What is the feeling that you're going after?"
Breaking this down before is
I'm like
camaraderie.
Camaraderie, right? Is that
community? Is that a feeling? That's not even a feeling.
I know it's hard. This is hard. Okay, like a lover.
Love.
Security.
Understanding.
Being understood as a feeling. Yeah.
And that's a huge. These are big veins.
Comfort. It feels comfortable. It feels warm, even fun. It feels exciting. It feels like life's exciting. It feels like sharing, sharing love.
Safe.
It feels safe.
Yeah.
Exhilarating.
These are all real feelings.
Yeah.
And what we do when we talk about the feeling behind the thing, the physical thing we want, is it makes us feel good. I'm feeling great.
Yeah.
I'm like, these are all really awesome things. And then the next step, you identify what you want, you identify why you want it, the feelings around that.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the tough. You have
let it go.
You find that. You do your best to find that within yourself. And because once you know the feelings around what you want and you cultivate them, I'm cultivating safety in my friendships. I'm cultivating stability or in my life in these little ways. Maybe I pay my bill on time, or maybe I make friends and I start galvanizing the community that I have and inviting people out and getting closer with people.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden it starts to cultivate that around you. And then you're getting all the feelings from this thing when really what you said, I want a boyfriend or whatever. You
realize it didn't even necessarily matter, that thing, in order to start having the feelings about it.
Right.
And there's different ways to go about them. And you used to be like, yeah, but I really want the thing. But the more you're focused on that, is like, it's this law of attraction thing. You're focused on the one. You're focused on the not having it. You're like, no, I really want that, and I don't have it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, the universe is like going to give you more don't having it. I've seen this happen. It's going to give you more not having it because that's what you're focused on.
Spirals. And
so you have to go the other. And it's what's strange is that things do start, the things you let go of the most, like when you start just getting on the feeling of something where it's like, oh, I want to do this, X, Y, and Z this summer. What does that feel like? Okay, it feels like my childhood freedom, excitement, what's around the corner, adventure, warmth on my skin, like all of these things. And then whatever comes that fills in that ends up being that anyway.
Right.
And a lot of times does end up being the actual manifestation once you've let go of it. Right. Once you've let go of, it's not just let go that saying I don't want it anymore. Because when I first had let go, I was like, let go and never want to love her again.
Right.
No, it's letting go of needing the physical thing in order to be happy.
There you go.
That is, I feel like, the number one. That is the secret to me.
Because if you say I can't be happy
unless,
then you ain't gonna be happy.
Yeah, especially if you haven't cultivated happiness. You think this lover's gonna come along and you haven't cultivated happiness, and then you put that all on them. We've all either been in a relationship or been the person who's like, now you're here, so I can finally be happy. Do everything right and make me happy.
This is why you're here.
This is why you're here. Or it wears off, or you get the new car and you're like, fuck yes, I'm waiting so long, I got the fucking car. And it is, and it's beautiful, and it is nice, and then it wears off, and you're like, well, now I want the next thing, because we're infinite beings, and we always want the next thing. Which is true, too.
There's too much science that tells me that, like, having a pile of money doesn't guarantee happiness. being poor with a ton of people around you doesn't guarantee happiness.
Mm-hmm.
None of it guarantees you. It's to be cultivated, and it does. They are feelings. It is not based on anything physical that you can hold. Things help.
Things help.
I've had meals that have made me happier.
Right.
I had lovers that have made me happier. I've had both those things make me less happy too.
Yeah. Me too. And I've had money make me happier, and I've had money make me a lot worse.
Yeah.
And I've been poor and miserable, and I've been poor and
right.
hilarious, laughing it up, sitting on the ground with my friends, thinking it's the funniest day ever.
Yeah. None of it is based in like long-term real true happiness except my actual feelings.
And a lot of it too is our other, Christine, who's the leader of Gaia Sagrada, that I didn't understand this vibration until I started doing it, was do what you want before the money comes, which made absolutely no sense. I'm like, but it costs money to do it. What are you talking about? Crazy person. That was my thought. I was like, oh, really? So just go do the thing that costs money without money? Sure. Great. Will do. And it does sound kind of ridiculous as someone sitting in a podcast studio that we paid money to have with a computer. Like, it does sound kind of ridiculous to tell someone, do what you love without the money, but it's just like, do it. Whatever the feeling is, do it for free. So you want to be a teacher? Go teach for free.
Go teach for free.
Ask someone on the street if you can talk to them. Hey, do you want to go sit in a coffee shop? Sub for free. Do anything so that the feeling of like, okay, I'm a teacher. I'm fulfilling. I'm
cook
sharing.
For your friends, have a dinner party. Yeah. Do the thing and detach it from it has to be reviewed. Or it has to make me money, or it has to be in a magazine, or somebody needs to see this and give me a trophy. It needs to be presentable to my parents. Like, do it despite anything but the fact that it makes you happy. I mean, that's practicing happiness right there, is doing the shit that makes you happy. But we think unless it's going to make me money, unless it's going to be reviewed, unless it's my next step, unless it's on my career path.
What does it lead to?
What does it lead to? Except, and what about leading to happiness? That's not a thing right now. Cultivating happiness doesn't seem to be a thing right now. We're getting there.
For its own sake.
For its own sake.
Yeah. Because despite everything we've learned, I think in society, we are unfortunately in like a capitalistic and consumeristic American society. We are bombarded constantly with like things make you happy. Things make you happy. Vacations make you happy. Right. Objects make you happy. Lovers make you happy. Being skinny makes you happy. There's 10 trillion a day. Things make you happy.
And there's so much to choose from. So even if you try one, you're like, on to the next.
On to the next
thing.
So
then we're on this race and you need money to get these things. Well, of course, right? It's capitalism. This is how it's set up.
That's how it works.
So you need money to get the thing that makes you happy. This is how it goes. This is the flow. You get money, you get the thing. You get money, you get the thing. And you keep trying, and you keep trying until you're happy, until you're there. I don't care what it is, and you do it for your life.
I know.
Until you're happy.
And Amazon, delivering little boxes to your doorstep, really plays into this.
Really plays into that.
It's so amazing.
Instant
I've been in that cycle. Raise your hand out
happiness.
there if you've been in that cycle. Click Amazon. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. That looks fun. I should get that. That looks fun.
And then you start going, well, nothing's making me happy. Oh, that's a loop. That's a deep hole. Nothing. Nothing's going to make... What's going to make me happy?
I've gotten all the stuff.
I have all the
And we
things.
know people like that who have the accomplishments,
kids, I have
the
a
career,
house, I have
the
a
house.
car, I have a career, I have money.
And nowhere to go up even.
I don't know.
Sometimes that starts to turn dark.
That's
where it's
dark.
like, now I need to manipulate. Now I need to have power.
Which is why a lot of people... Power. And they're like,
and
more
it's
power.
manipulation,
then you go more
control.
onto things.
Then it's like bigger and sometimes darker stuff that comes out of that. Yeah.
Or
and
you
it's
go
like
to
this...
Ecuador and you take some ayahuasca and you learn that it's within you. Either way you get there.
Taking over the world, barfing in a bucket in Ecuador, whatever.
Happiness is a big deal. Doing your 20-minute meditations, and then if you say, what makes me happy? Feeling community. Well, how do I get community? I mean, I take better care of my friends. Okay, what makes me feel stable? Maybe planting a garden, moving into, I know for me, like I move around a lot and sometimes I need to plant roots. So being like, oh, plant roots, like move into your home or I don't know. There's just like these little things we can do that make us happy. I want to cook at home. Well, practice cooking at home. I miss, we were saying like cook, you want to be a cook or you want to be a chef, like explore that. Just do it. Take a class, ask a friend, intern, do the thing. Now, why not? Why not now?
And what if you never become a chef? Guess what? Doesn't matter because you will have been excited along the way. And that is another crazy part of this deep manifestation thing is sometimes when you get the thing you thought you wanted so bad, you look back and you're like, I was so happy in the creation of this. I was so happy in the thinking
On
and
the way.
the pieces and the person who talked. Oh, and
It's
I
really,
met this lady,
it's
and
unfolding.
whoa, the unfolding. And that's what you really want.
Right.
And that's why we're here, is we're here to create. We are beings that are creating this universe. Everything that you see, we've either thought of, or with all the way to our physical hands and our physical bodies creating it.
Yeah.
That's what we love, and that's why we'll never get it done, and we'll never be happy, because
we'll
never be happy. We'll never get it done, because then you'll have the next idea. Then you'll have and we've experienced that. Like, you get the thing. What's the next idea?
I think a lot of people do that. They, like Jess was talking about. You know, one of our friends went to acupuncture school, and she was like, you know, okay, when I get my degree, I'm good to go. She's having so much fun on the way, learning so much about Chinese herbs and medicine. And it's almost, and I remember this feeling, this is my college graduation. And actually, I remember feeling this at a lot of the pinnacles of things I've worked for, is like, what next? What now?
Yeah, what now?
The journey was great, got the thing, and I'm already dreaming. Because a lot of, in the journey, creates new dreams. And once you're in the world of, like, when I started teaching meditation, I was like, I think I want to do something like Mindful in New York, do a little brick and mortar, have all these great classes.
Yeah.
I had no money to start the thing, no money to do anything. So I said, okay, well, what do I need to do this? I need space. I start calling up spaces. Lo and behold, Seattle's dope, and people just started donating spaces. All right, well, what else do I need? Okay, I need to make some posters. Call up my graphic design friends. Hey, can you do some posters? Great. What else do I need? Tea? Like, once I started to walk the path without any money, and I just would say, what do I need? And then I'd look around and ask, it came to me.
Yeah.
The only times I ever had money were when I needed cash money to pay for something. I think I was out $40 by the time this thing started.
That's crazy.
And as I went along, I started to meet other people in this world, because now I'm in the world, right? Now I'm meeting people. Now people are coming my way. Now I'm getting opportunities off the website that was like free.
Yeah.
And now I'm way more honing what I want to do.
And imagine if you would have thought that you had to have, like, okay, I'm going to start a meditation business. I'm going to get a loan. I need $20,000. Okay. So then I'm going to buy the pads. I'm going to make sure I have the thing.
I tried to go that way. I didn't have the money for it. I didn't have the resources. And you want to know what I learned? I don't want to run a business. I want to teach meditation.
That's very different.
It's very different.
And if you would have put the money first, maybe all of a sudden you would have had this just like business to run. I would have had to be running
a business.
And payroll
and payrolls and
dumb
taxes
shit you don't have any interest in doing.
I don't have an interest in running a business. I have an interest in raising human consciousness.
Yeah. I actually don't have an interest in running a business either.
Yeah.
I don't want to do all that business stuff.
Yeah.
I will work for a business that I believe in. You know, I will be partners.
I think that's what people think is, like, to do the thing I love, it needs to make money and it needs to be a business. And it has to be leading somewhere and it has to be able to grow. So you never start it at all. You never do the thing you love.
So you never start it.
So you never start it.
And you never even start just doing the most simple, like, get it down to the most simple, what is the most simple aspect of what you want to do? Like you were saying with, I want to be a chef in a restaurant. I want to be reviewed. I want to be in Capitol Hill. Capitol Hill's expensive. I don't know if I can afford it. What do you want to do?
What do you want to do?
Cut a fucking carrot and serve it to your friends.
Do you want to feed people?
Do you have a kitchen? Do you have a house? Yes. Do you have a stove?
House?
Done.
Cook. Invite people over to go.
Cook.
Because when you focus on it, because then you go, okay, I'll have a dinner party. Then you're focusing on the menu. You're thinking about how it's going to taste in your friend's mouth. You're thinking of plating. You get new plates. You went to, and then you're just in the world of happiness. That's all you fucking wanted. Just to focus on what makes you happy.
That's all you wanted.
And then it blossoms and grows, because once you're in that happy state, and this is the law of attraction, everything just
comes into
real,
support,
rosy, looks good. You're grateful, your gratitude, your happy friends start coming around you. Things just really turn up.
Yeah. And important that gratitude is a huge lesson. Like, I think if I was going to ask you what you thought of someone who is very new to this, like new to law of attraction, like what would be, because it is confusing at first.
Yes.
But what would be your advice of, like, little simple things people can do each day to be like, I want to be in this mode where I'm aware of my thoughts, I'm aware of what I'm attracting. And I think for me, taking personal responsibility for everything that has already showed up in your life, which can be very difficult. And a lot of those are old manifestations, right? Like things that are happening now. I love Abraham's like, don't always look at reality. Reality is just like the leftover manifestations that are coming now. Like, you don't know how long it's been that your day to day, it's all shitty. Like, that could have been a lot of stuff from the past years, days,
we're coming out of a lot
something.
of stuff too. Stuff's coming in and stuff's fading out.
Yeah. And she always says, like, if you jump out of a plane, like if you have some huge manifestation, like you're jumping out of a plane, like, what do? How do I get back in the plane? How do I climb back up? It's like, just wait till you hit the ground. It's going to be over soon. It's like, just let that one play out, you know?
Let it
So
play
there is
out.
some things in your life where like maybe you created some negativity with, like, let's say your sister or something. Like, it might play out for a while.
Right.
So don't think that if in 2 weeks she calls you mad, you're like, well, what's this manifestation? Like
what did I do to deserve a fight with this thing?
Yeah, things are going to play out. And you can't be hyper vigilant, aware of, like, every damn single thought. So don't try to, like, control it.
And don't self-flagellate when stuff goes wrong thinking, I thought the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the thing about law of attraction is you go, oh man, I'm having a shitty day. No, I'm not. No. Everything's perfect.
Just kidding.
Like
Just kidding.
2 seconds of saying you're having a shitty day is gonna like make everything terrible. There's that too. And it's about learning this law of attraction thing, cultivating happiness that you can start to smooth over a lot of these things.
Yeah.
You know,
and like we were talking about earlier, not stuffing down those real feelings, which is hard because you're like, okay, I'm angry, but I don't want to be angry because anger will have a bad manifestation, and so I shouldn't be angry. But you're like
detaching from the feelings of anger. I'm not angry. I'm feeling anger.
Mm-hmm.
It will pass, but right now, where is it at? Where do I feel it? What is this thing? So that when it pops up again, I know, and I go, that's just anger. I see you, anger. I know that you fade away after a while. I can get to the root now because I don't need to be like calling someone an idiot. Where does it come from? Oh, it's there. I didn't say this. I didn't speak my truth. I need to have a conversation. Okay.
Cool.
And then you take care of it.
And this is a huge thing too, is you guys should look up online the emotional scale, the emotional guidance scale. And it just goes all the way from like complete bliss and happiness at the very top and excitement and joy and gratitude and love and da-da-da-da-da. In the middle is kind of like boredom, maybe a little bit of frustration, being idle, and all the way down to like complete despair. And anger is actually a little bit higher.
Because it's awareness. We always say
anger is this, it's awareness.
A lot of times with awareness comes anger because you're like,
yeah.
what have I been thinking for so long?
How did that? Yeah, it is kind of more awareness. Whereas like even frustration and despair is like very low. So the whole point of the guidance system is that if you're feeling boredom, don't try to feel joy in the next moment. Don't be like, I'm bored. No, just kidding. Everything's great. My door is beautiful. Don't jump so far up. Like if you're in anger, try to go from anger even to frustration. Frustration's a little bit lighter, right? It's like going from like, can I be frustrated? Like that will help me right now. Can I be like, this is a frustrating situation. I'm frustrated.
I'm gonna call it.
I'm gonna call it for the day. I'm gonna go back to sleep. I'm gonna take a nap. Like I'm frustrated.
Taking a nap.
Also, if you can't get over it, take a nap.
That's
get out of thought.
That's a real
go away. But, or if you're in like, okay, I'm kind of in like, I'm having like a day where I'm just feeling like restless. I'm really restless. I'm restless.
That's a big thing.
Or like maybe you can go from restless to like what's a little tiny bit higher than that?
Like what is something I've been
I'm
wanting
energetic.
to do
I'm feeling
lately?
kind of energetic.
We're like, what's something I've been wanting to do? Like, this is cool. I have energy.
Ooh, I have energy.
I can get something.
Lots going on. Yeah, lots bubbling in me. I have some energy today.
Because having energy, that's fun. What could I do with this energy?
What could I do with this energy? Yeah, nice.
Make a list of things I've been wanting to do.
Yeah, that's cool. Like, write it all out. Whoa, yeah.
And not only is it a thing to do to take the restlessness away, but now you're thinking about stuff that makes you happy. I've been wanting to take a hike. I've been wanting to go to this museum exhibit. I've been wanting to do this thing. I think writing is big, whether you're like making a list of things you're grateful for. That's huge.
Huge.
Things you're grateful
Must
for.
do.
You can't live in the vibration of gratitude and a low vibration at all.
It's impossible.
It's
impossible to be in fear or anger when you have.
So if you can just get to where you list grateful for, and a lot of people are like, I'm grateful for my friends and my family. Be grateful that your zipper didn't break. I mean, if you need to, you know what I mean? Like anything that you got a new pair of headphones and they don't crackle yet. You know?
And the more detailed you get, like almost the more fun it is. You know, like just the stupidest things, like 3:00 the sun comes through my blinds and it's the most like relaxing, beautiful sun, and I get to like lay in it and look at it, and I love that time. And I notice with the deeper I get into gratitude, or like stuff like I always do my pillow at night. I'm always like, my neck, and I get to lay down.
You start doing it naturally.
It's cold. You start doing it
because you
naturally.
Look at
micro gratitude.
Yeah.
Really weird things, like really small feelings. I do it with like my nails. Like when I get my nails painted, I'm like, I love looking at this color.
So then when you get parking spots and discounts on whatever, then you're just like, those things are like, oh my gosh, because I've already been thankful for my thread count, you know?
Yeah. Just the smallest things. And throughout the day. And if like that, gratitude can get me out of a lot of bad, sticky situations. And again, it can't be big if I'm really low on the negative. If I'm feeling very negative, I can't be like, my computer is silver. I like silver. It's great. Sometimes you can't do it.
Right.
So it's like just getting in that little tiny bit above that and starting to notice in your life, the manifestations that are happening, and the big ones are the feelings,
Yeah.
dude. When you manifest a feeling of joy or community or fulfillment, when you manifest just the feeling, like really start to notice that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because those are the ones you actually want. Those are the
Right.
ones you want.
Right.
They may come through physical things, like
Yeah.
a community may come through like sitting around and seeing people's faces,
Yeah.
but it also might be like someone hugging you and you're like, oh my gosh, I made a new friend.
And you better milk these, because this is how you learn to cultivate, is you recognize the good feelings. We recognize when we're angry, when we're pissed off, and we're low energy. But a lot of times we're busy thinking, how long is this going to last? When we're sitting in a happy manifestation, then all of a sudden it's like, well, how long is it going to last? And it immediately tips you into the other side. Well, what was all that for then?
Well, because I think some people, and this may resonate with some people, is that it's our bodies and our brains especially like to be used to things. So like sometimes when we're just used to things going wrong, that feels good. Things being routine and normal sometimes feel good, even if they're bad feelings, right?
Yeah.
So like if someone's always anxious, if like things pop up to make them anxious, it at least it's on the script,
Right.
you know? So it's like I knew, like I had a friend like this in high school. I mean, she was like the best. Sometimes the best manifestors are ones who can manifest bad things.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's so easy for them. It's so
They get
easy.
sick all the time.
Sick all the time. They knew the party would be
Yeah.
stupid. And it was. And someone spilled a drink, and I would see this glitter of like almost like satisfaction in her eye when something would go wrong.
Things wrong a lot of times.
It is. They can show themselves
They can
really
show themselves
easily.
a lot easier. But that's what I'm saying. When the good things go right, and if you're meditating enough and you're aware of your good feelings, of your feelings.
Yeah.
That's why meditation and law of attraction work so well together, because you have to be aware of your feelings to even know what you want and what you don't want, and how this contrast feels, which contrast is a big thing. And contrast I love now because it gets you really clear about what you want.
It gets you really clear.
So you're like we always say, boyfriends are things like, having a relationship, like a romantic relationship, is beautiful because it's just constant. Like, I like this, don't like that. I like this, I don't like that. Blah. But it gets you clear on things.
It's a lot of contrast, which I used to think was a fancy word for like shitty stuff.
Or
like,
right.
Like trouble.
Right.
But it's not really.
No.
Contrast is like that we live in a world of duality, and contrast creates clarity.
Right.
Like you don't know what you want till there's all this contrast of
right.
like dark, light, up,
Until
down,
you
left,
even
right.
try something or have experiences.
Yeah, it creates what you want. And you just realize your desires, like my desires of travel, comes from knowing that when I'm in a certain place for too long, like I get a feeling of wanting to see something new. It just creates that desire.
Right. But I think then being in that is knowing like, oh, I like change, or I like this. So when you're in it and you're feeling great, you feel just like when you feel anger. I feel it in my shoulders. Where do I feel happiness? I feel a lot in my heart. It tingles. And like knowing those feelings. And calling it like it is.
I know.
And telling that voice that will pop up in all of us humans that says it's not gonna last, being like, it's here fucking now, mister. It's here now.
Such a huge voice.
Period. Because we say it with anger, we're like, it's here now, it's gonna go away. Sometimes with happiness, it's here now. Well,
how do I hold on to it? How do I hold on to it? Right. Guess what? You don't. Contrast comes back up. It causes you to, and the cycle starts over. Contrast pops up. What do you want? Okay, you create a thing. There's you get in the right space. You get in the vibration to accept it. You accept it. You get there. Da 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 da. It feels great. Blah. Okay. Contrast. Then you go back to step one. Contrast. Things go wrong. Okay, great. What do I want? And that's life.
It's life.
And sometimes it's frustrating, like we were talking about earlier, of like, but you just like life seems like this goal. Like I'm gonna get there. Like finish line. Like there's gonna be a
place of happiness, and there's a spectrum, and right in the middle is happy, and you can't go too far to one side or the other, and you can't. No, you are wildly going all around, and it is your feelings that you try to keep as happy as you can in the moment. Not happy in general, like there's my happy place, but the best you can do with wherever you're at in your life. Yeah. And if you just had somebody that passed away, or you're in the middle of a breakup, or you don't feel as good as you did, or you're going through a bad day, that's not going to fucking feel like a day where you just won money and you got the day off.
Never is.
So you're not going to be able to get there. What's the best you can do for that day?
Yeah.
And knowing and man, knowing that we are in the middle of an unfolding, that our stories are not written until the day you die.
And even then, not
really. Is comforting to me.
I know.
Because this is an unfolding. It's like reading a really great book. And my book is great because I'm crafting it with the things that excite me.
Yeah.
It's an exciting book.
But there is no ending because
there's
you
no
don't know
ending,
when
and
you
I'm
could
not
end
going
right.
anywhere. I'm not headed in any direction. It's a story. It's like chapter.
That's the plane.
Chapter. It's a plane. I'm not
Yeah.
on the ladder. I don't know where the ladder goes. I've seen a lot of my family are ladder climbers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm looking around. I'm looking at their lives. I'm looking at how they feel. I'm probably not going to climb a ladder.
The problem with the ladder is like there's an ending, and when you climb a ladder, you get to the top, and then you look out and you finish. So like,
say, for what?
For what? What is at the top of the ladder? People like climbing the corporate ladder, the ladder of family, the ladder of children, the ladder.
What's at the
what
top
is
of
at
these
the
ladders?
top? I've always wondered.
I'm asking you.
I mean, too. We're looking at each other,
me?
being like, I don't know. But this is why it's important to meditate and get to the bottom of your feelings. Because a lot of times we keep our life so busy that we don't even give a fuck. It's just the ladder and shut up. And that's the way society told me.
This is where it's
Are
going.
you kidding?
And
you're an idiot.
A hippie idiot.
And you're a hippie idiot.
That's
get on the
around.
ladder. This is how life is. And I've had so many people tell me that. This is how life is. You get in your thing. You go to
It's a rat race.
It's a race.
You live and then you die.
Yeah, and you do it, and you get on you and you participate.
A simplistic way, but okay. And so then if I have a choice. And
that's where the plane, Heather started that, the ladder of the plane. Like when you're on a plane, a lot of different directions to go. It's a big giant circle. I don't know where it goes. What's over there? What are those cows? What's that forest? What we were saying
earlier is like, for me, it's all forward. My contrast in my life, I'm not calling them failures. I haven't failed. I've taken directions. And all of it's forward. Like, all of it's just unfolding. Like, I'm not getting things wrong and then recorrecting. I'm going through experiences and picking what makes me feel good and then going towards that. And then I get into an experience and I see what's around and I go towards what makes me feel good next.
Yeah.
And if it's something like long-term, like we're saying, like traveling has never let me down, I'm going to keep traveling. Working with you has never let me down, keep working with you.
Yeah.
Working in an office, tried it a few times. It keeps making me
so many times.
Depressed. Serving. It only works in these certain ways.
Certain circumstances.
Yeah, certain circumstances.
And I know what they are
families,
now.
and I know what they are now. So now I go this way. I'm honing all these little things around. I'm getting better at being Heather. I'm getting better at knowing what makes me happy. I'm getting better at when I have contrast, not going, oh no, I'm in this tough spot.
It's all falling apart.
It's all falling apart.
All of this was for nothing.
It was for nothing.
That is an easy trap to fall into. I did it wrong. Look at me. I'm an idiot, and I did it
traction.
All
it
wrong.
Means nothing.
I better start from the beginning.
Now I have to tell my friends that this thing didn't work out.
Look, they're all looking at me, and I failed. Can you imagine if you had that feeling of let's say you wanted to be like a mother your whole life? You're like, I can't wait to have kids. They're gonna be so fun. Oh my god, it's gonna be so much fun. I just can't wait. That's all I wanted to do. It's all I've ever wanted. And then, I mean, I'm sorry, but that's a pretty big expectation to put on a human being that you're raising, is that they're going to fulfill your whole life and every dream you've ever had. So maybe you get there, and then it's like, how hard would it be to feel a feeling of a day, a week, a month, or a year, or a lifetime of maybe not liking one of your kids?
Yeah.
How the hell are you moving through that?
Yeah.
You know? You have to be able to. You have to be able to. And so, we even still do it with all my hippy dippy, everything's fun, I travel up, I'm not trying to make this life that I live seem like the right thing to do, right or wrong. It's not better, and I know that comes across to people, and a lot of times it's when things really hit you hard and you feel very offended and angry. It's usually you and not the person speaking, but sometimes it comes across as an attack on other lifestyles.
Right.
Like when I talk about my lifestyle, which is unique, let's just be honest, it's adventurous, and it's a little risky, and it's a little bit all over the place.
Exciting.
It comes across to people who maybe have a more stable life as an affront to them.
Well, because for a long time in our 20s, it was very defensive, the way we would present our life.
It was.
Because we were fighting against what we were told was the right way. So you did feel like you had to kind of grind it into people's faces.
Like
that
how
everything
great
was
it
so
was.
perfect. Where now in my adulthood, I'm like, I can tell you a pro and con right now.
I know. Can you? And I'm like, can you? You corporate ladder kids are perfect. Can you tell me?
It's hard to tell me their cons, and I'm like, well, that's not fair.
Tell me your cons. We all got cons. I can tell you mine right now. Don't always have money. Don't have a savings.
Stability can be tough.
No don't know where I'm living.
From parents.
Right. People think I'm wackadoodle all over, don't know what I'm doing with my career. I only try things for a short time. I fail at stuff.
Having a partner can be really easy, someone to lean on. But we found, stability sounds great to a lot of people, but we find our ways, actually our lives probably look a lot our desires between someone on the corporate ladder and somebody living on the plane are probably pretty similar, and the ways that we find them is just a little different. You know, we rely on friends a little bit more.
Yeah, and family.
There's a network of homes that us travelers kind of, you know, use. A lot of my friends, not necessarily on the ladder, but living a more stable life with kids and families, living in one place, have been some of my biggest supporters.
I know.
And sometimes I go into their homes and I'm telling them, looking around, telling them how beautiful their lives are, and they go, "Oh, we all can use some truth and clarity with the pros and cons and the tough parts and beautiful parts of our life." Because we're, at the end of the day, we want love,
we all
community,
want the same thing,
hugs, and a hot meal.
I know.
And understanding. Yeah. Understanding.
That's actually like maybe the biggest one. But guess what? Ain't nobody gonna understand you if you don't tell the whole truth.
And if you don't understand you.
I think that's the number one thing. If anyone I meet, if I am interacting with someone who does not have hardly any understanding about why they do the things they do, why they feel the way they do, and kind of the results that are coming of that, it's very hard for me to communicate anything real to people like that, because I'm like, what?
Where is this emotion? I hear the emotion. You not knowing where it comes from and me not knowing where it comes from. Like, what do we do with it now?
What do we do with it? I don't know where to go.
Why are you sad? Why are you mad? Why are you happy? What about this?
Yeah.
And you know, it's so funny because lately our relationship's been evolving. So we, you know, and we're very woo. So we like to discuss why we feel mad or angry or sad, because we know when it's happening that we're mad or angry or sad. But it's not always clear.
No.
It's just like a lot of times we are aware and we say, "I'm not feeling quite right now. Don't know why yet." Placeholder. And then after that, like letting it go, like letting it out and saying that thing to the person, we come back around and we're like, "Oh, when you said that, it reminded me of this usually it's an old historical argument."
I know.
Or it's something.
Or it's like I don't know yet.
Or
it's like maybe it's something that will never change. You're like, you're like, ugh.
Like when we're having a feeling or emotion.
Yeah. So my feeling and emotion is that might be the end of this podcast.
Yeah. And this one I would really love feedback. So we have places to leave feedback. We have a Facebook, but if you you can do it in the comments, you can do it on the YouTube that comes out of this. Like, I want to know people's meditation journey. We haven't been meditating long at all, but in a little amount of time, it has drastically changed my life, for the better.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very noticeable when I fall out of practice, so that makes me know that it's an important part of my life.
Right. And I highly recommend it on this on any woo journey, because like plant medicines or a lot of other things, it opens you up. It just opens you up to get to know who you are. And there's always this phrase like soul gazing, which is terrible, but you do start getting to know who you are as a being. You came into this world, you're a spirit, you're individual and you're authentic. Who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you? And if you can't answer that right now, or with
and we all know that. We all know we're individuals.
Yeah,
like there's this sense of this crazy deep connection that we all are a part of a puzzle, yet we all are individuals and very unique.
And if you're trying to figure out your next steps or what you want to do or who you want to fall in love with, or if a relationship is right, you got to know who you are and why you do what you do, why you think what you think, and what your feelings mean. And meditation can get you there. I highly recommend starting at any entry point, whether it's a class.
Easiest thing for me was like 5 to 10 minute guided meditations on YouTube. Guess what? You go on YouTube, you type meditation, anxiety, meditation, happiness, meditation, gratitude, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're thinking about, meditation, mantra. It doesn't even matter. Just type meditation. There's like 10 trillion on there.
Pick the voice you like.
Pick the voice you like and the sounds you like, and start there for however long you need to.
Yeah.
Sometimes I still do guided meditations.
Start and commit to like a week of waking up, or a month of waking up before you do anything. 5 minutes, go. Yeah. Let us know how it is.
And I will say this, and we'll talk about this maybe on another podcast, but there's another level to meditation.
Yeah, we will talk about that.
And it's like magical, and
happy landia,
crazy.
We love you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for listening. So as somebody would to me, be like, woo woo. Bye guys.